Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Today I'm coming to you with a quick sneak peek at my new journal. This journal measures, I believe it was, sorry, I didn't measure for sure. I went kind of back and forth, 4 by 5.5. So it's teeny, as you can see, compared to my hands. That's the size. And I'm using the My Porch Prints Grandma's Garden. I took all of the elements and I printed them two to a page, and so they're super small. So I'm just going to kind of flip through these and let you see them. So those are the little tickets. I think these are supposed to be belly bands. I kind of use them in a variety of ways. Little tiny little tuck spots. There's a whole bunch of those, and then there's these ones as well. Super cute. I'm also going to do a large one, but I wanted to start with the small just because I wanted something that could potentially go a little bit quicker for me. I'm anxious to use all of these bits. So little journaling cards, and these little deals. I think there's supposed to be a little book. And I always round the corners when I get ready to use them just because I fussy cut all this stuff out when I'm watching TV. So this is just some of the beautiful stuff that's in the kit. So I thought I would do just a quick kind of preview of what I've already done in the journal. I've got so many journal ideas that I want to do between now and the end of the year that I'm going to be kind of skipping parts so that I want to do an autumn journal, which I've never done before. I'm not a big fan of the fall. It's a difficult season for me historically, so I've always kind of shied away from that, as well as just holiday art in general is a struggle for me. So, and I also want to do a Christmas journal, which I'm going to use the Winter Wonderland kit from My Porch Prints as well. That's going to be a regular size journal, I believe. But I did go ahead and put this together. I used a HP ink cartridge box for this, for my book form, and I really like it because it's a really thick, deep spine. It's 2 inches. So I was able to put in 4 signatures, if you can see those there. There's 4 signatures. And so, and I wrapped it, well, let me just show you. This is an antique kind of stretchy lace that I got from an antique shop some time ago, and I actually attached it underneath all of these flowers here, so it won't come off. You don't have to kind of keep track of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something different with the closure. I was thinking about shortening it and maybe putting a button on it, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So right now I'm just going to leave it as it is. But here on the spine, you can see I have these. They're a lacy flower. I used these on my very first journal, which was my Soul's Heartbeat journal. Oh, that's coming off. Goodness, I'm going to have to glue that again. That's Fabri-Tac too. That's weird. So I've used these before and I absolutely adore them. So I covered the box with just a really pale, light patterned piece of pink fabric. And then I covered it with this beautiful lace, as you can see. Really, really love it. I did also put book pages underneath this because I did still have some color coming through the box, even though I had gessoed the entire surface. And you can see more detail about how I actually do a journal, how I put the signatures in one of the other videos on my channel, or anybody else that does them on YouTube. They're everywhere. So that is that. And then I created this beautiful little collage. I have to fix this little flower. It's driving me crazy. I don't know why that happened. That's really weird. Maybe I just didn't get enough on there. Let me just fix that really quick so I can focus. There we go. That was strange. So we'll just let that sit while we're talking here. So I did create this little collage focal point on the front of the journal. It's very layered up. This here is a piece of chipboard or cardboard from some packaging. Let me move this a little bit closer so you can see all the details from some packaging, and I just covered it with the same pink fabric, and then I put that lace over it, or then I put a piece of lace inside the frame of the stitching. So I went around it with my zigzag stitching and my straight stitch. And then this is, I'll have to look up where this image comes from. There's a couple Etsy shops that I get these from, and I want to be sure that I give you the right one. So I'll be sure to link that in the supply list. This is a quote from the Grandma's Garden kit, Pick a Few. I thought it was really cute because she's got flowers in her hair. She's got holding a flower. She's got flowers everywhere. So, and then I took little bits of this pink lace, which is one of my favorite laces to use. It's a really wide kind of weave, and it's a really pale pink. And as you can see, I did collage some music page and a little bit of a book page. It says something really cute that I liked. Little Daphne something or other, I don't know. But and then I found these in my stash. Don't even know where they came from, but I put one there and then one down here. And then I also took some fabric and just did a little bit of collaging with some fabric here and then under some of this, which did kind of get lost in the layers there, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and open her up. I haven't done any decorating inside other than I did do some stitching around the edges of some of the pages. So I covered the inside of the book with papers from the kit. I actually used a page from the regular size of the papers in the kit to cover this whole area, because one of my downfalls is I always forget this place here where your spine is, and I always have to scramble to find something to put there. So so I did that, and as you can see, I do have 4 signatures: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's just look through them, just so you can see the lovely papers. They're always, always, always prettier in person than they are when you're looking at them online. I just have to tell you, I've been shocked with just about every digital kit I've ever bought. There's been a few that I've not been pleased with, none of them being from My Porch Prints, but other sellers that I've been disappointed. But all in all, they really are what they're better than they look on the screen. So and this one you can see that I did some zigzag stitching, and then I did just some random kind of squiggly stitching. And then I backed the papers for this kit with this, it's like a vintage lace, and this is from Angela Kerr's Etsy shop. It's a tea-stained lace, digital. And then an old music page from my stash. I did reinforce a lot of these vintage pages with just some washi tape, so you'll see that as we move through. I used a punch on the edge of this one. Oh, and then the other thing is this, oh, not that one. I thought I had done all of them with a heavy cardstock. Maybe I didn't do it on all of them. I tried to do a heavy cardstock on the very first page, but it looks like this one I didn't do. I think because I decided to add the 4th signature kind of after the fact. So, and I don't want to hold that up, so I'm just going to move the camera just a little bit closer here. You have to look at my dry hands though. There we go. I've been in glue and materials all day, so there we go. And so that just makes this beautiful scalloped edge on that paper. And then we've got, I printed this one on vellum, which I think is really lovely. And then this is an old piece from a pattern, as you can see, which I just thought was really lovely. I did some just random stitches because, again, I did reinforce the seam with some washi tape. I thought that was supposed to be the seam. I wonder where that. Let's look how that shifted when I sewed the signature in. I have a feeling we might be surprised, and not in a good way. Oh, there it is. It's okay. So so that's the other side of it. Sorry about that, kind of lost. I haven't looked at it since I actually sewed it in, but I love this because it's all like discolored from being old and maybe exposed to the light. And then I used a different punch here. Really love this one. It's pretty fragile though. I did punch on some of the heavier cardstock pieces, and that it worked out a lot better. It was more durable. And then that's just a beautiful page from the kit as well. And this one I just kind of went crazy with my stitching because I wanted to try that fast flow stitching. Really, really, really fun. Hard to do with a standard foot on your sewing machine, but I'm going to play around, see if I have I think it's called a freestyle foot. I just haven't looked yet to see. I should have one, but we'll see. Play a lot more with that. And then, oh, what happened here? That's the center. Okay. That's the center. So I just wanted to feel what that was like to kind of do that kind of random stitching, and I really liked it. And it's just weird that just seems weird to me. Anyway, that's the other side of that one. It's been kind of a long day. I've been working on this all day, so I'm a little bit tired, but anyway, and I just made a little fold over there. I just like this Betsy Wetsy and Tiny Tears. So this must be a doll dress pattern, which I just thought was really cool. And not that my grandmother sewed and my memories of my grandma are not very good. I know that grandmas have a huge impact in our lives, and I'm a Grammy. I have 7 grandchildren, and I do those things with them. I sewed for them when they were little. I sewed for my girls when they were little, and things like that. So this is kind of, some of the things I chose to put in here are more around the sentiment, the idea of grandma for me. So, and I'm also going to be giving away this journal just as an FYI. I've given away other ones. I've given away other pieces of art. I have no reason to keep all of these bits. And so some of them I will just be making and decorating, and then I'll just be picking somebody to send it to. So if it's something that you would like, you can just leave a comment underneath the video or over on my blog, which will be in the description box. So there we go. And then there's the back of that page. Really beautiful. And then this one just seems weird for some reason. I'm not sure. There's the other side of that vellum. I just love that. And I love it against this writing. I think that's really cool. And then here's just a smaller little page. And then the other side of the book page. And the other side of that one. And then that's the back of that paper. And so this is the heavier stock. So you can kind of hear the difference between this and this. So this is, I believe, a 60-pound weight paper, and this is probably 110. So I like that, but I did neglect to print on the back, so I just left it. I printed on a cream paper. That's one thing I did different, but that's going to be a really great writing space in the end. So, and then here's a vellum page for this side, or this signature. More music pages, again, just random stitching. I reinforced. There were other places on the music pages where just by my inking it, I would get tears, and I just used the washi tape, but I'll show that to you as we get to it. Another page where I just did some kind of not straight stitching, just kind of curvy. And then this is a piece of music page from my scrap bin. I had used this, and I was playing with the Dina Wakley acrylic sprays, and I was doing some stenciling, and this is just an offcut, a scrap from that. And I just thought it just seemed right for this, because we're using recycled materials, right? So we're using digitals, we're using random other bits from our stashes, and so I like to have kind of a bit of each. Just did a straight stitch around that page. That's going to be a great writing space. And then more, if you watched my other video on my I Love You Mama journal that I did, the really small one, I used some of this paper in there too. It's from a vintage book that I have. I just love the images. So I made kind of a little pocket here. When I decide to use it, I'll figure out what I want to do. I may do a writing space that flips off the side. I'm not sure. That's why I did not attach that any further, but I did do stitching all around the edges. And then there's the other side of that. And then more of that paper. It's just gorgeous. And then more of that tea stain lace paper from Angela Kerr. The other side of that music page. And then Here we go. And then there's another, this is a really fragile music page. So you can see I did come along this whole edge with some washi tape, and you can see little bits here and there where I've come in and kind of repaired the paper so I could still use it. And then the other side of that vellum. And then this is the last page in that signature. This will make a great spot for maybe some kind of a little folio or something that I can stick in there that can put some ephemera in it. And then this is the third signature. So again, just another page from the kit, and this is shrunken down so that it prints two images to a page, so it shrinks it down into half the size. And then I just love this one. Oh my gosh, I love this. Beautiful. And then this, you'll see this on the other side. This is a little like gift bag that I had coffee dyed, and then I played around with some acrylic inks and kind of made a mess, but I thought it just seemed fitting for this journal for some reason, so I pulled that out of my stash. So, and then this is another piece of pattern paper, and so you can see I've reinforced it with some washi tape. I think I used 4 or 5 different kinds of washi tape just because I didn't want it to be the same all the way through the journal. And I just love this. Oh, I just love this. But the other side of it is even prettier. And then another vellum page with all the gardening tools. And this is the other side of that really fragile music page. So you can see I've put some washi tape in various places just to kind of secure that. This is a little image from the kit. When it's printed full size, it's a good, sorry, I can't really show you because it's like that. It's a pretty good size piece of paper, but I shrunk it down and I love it because I just love that rose image. Roses are my favorite thing. And then I did use a couple of envelopes, these tiny envelopes, and I decorate them before I sew them into the signature just because it's easier in my opinion and it's what I prefer. So this one's decorated front and back and sewn in by the flap. And so it's got an image on both sides, and then it's got a little tuck spot in here. So we'll be able to put a tag or a journaling card in there. I'll probably ink some of those edges too. And then that's the other side of that little rose image. And then the other side of that really fragile music page, the other side of the vellum. And then, yeah. And then here's the other side of that pattern piece. And I just love this image. I think this is my favorite page in the whole thing. So super excited about that. And then just the other side of that. And then this is the other edge of that, the other side of that bag I was telling you about. So you can see it looks kind of messy with the pinks and the greens and then the browns. This is like a raw umber and like a magenta or something. And I just thought it looked really gardeny. So I'm just going to make a little pocket out of it or something. We'll see when we get there. I will be decorating this with you guys online, at least some. I don't know how much because I have a lot of other things going on and I can only do so many video. I mean, I could do a video every day, but I don't want to upload a video every day. So trying to balance all of that out. So, and then just a great back page for this signature. So there's that. And then here's my last signature. Again, just some wavy stitching there. And that's, again, that really heavy cardstock. And I think I'm going to start doing that on all my journals because I feel like it really created some stability in this journal. And then this is another piece of from the kit. And then it's backed with that tea stain paper from Angela Kerr. This is another piece of vintage book page. It's a children's book. I can't remember what it was called, but I love it. And then we've got, oh, I didn't realize I'd have these conflicting, but 2 pieces of vintage stuff so that I've got washi tape to stabilize both of those. So again, another piece of music page. And then there's, oh, I just love this. Look at that. This is another piece of vintage. This is like the back of, or the front of the pattern package. And then this is, you'll see the card on the other when we get further in, but this is just the, I just folded this. And so maybe I'll make a pocket out of that. I'm not sure, a pocket here. but you'll see it in just a second. And then this one, I just took my hole punch or my circle punch, and I just made this design because I just wanted to do something different. So I liked that. And then here's my other little envelope. And this is the center of the signature, which I usually put those in the center because they tend to be a little bulky. And then this one I collaged around the window so that we could actually use that window. So I'll be sticking something in there that will show through, which I think is fun. And then again, it's decorated on the back as well. And then this is the other side of that card. This was just, I think this was a birthday card that my best friend sent me just this last May. And I just immediately thinking about things that like that are coming in to my life, thinking about them a little bit differently. And so I just immediately just took it and threw it in with my stuff for journaling, because I think adding these kinds of things is really meaningful in our creative process. So so I did that. That one's a little bit low. I should have probably centered that a little bit better, but that's okay. And then this is the other part of that really fragile pattern. So this is the front of a pattern. Really, really cute. I just love the little baby. And then the other side of the music page. And then the other side of the book page. Normally I wouldn't put these two together, so I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. And it's okay. So, and then washi tape again to just really reinforce that. Pages are really, really fragile. And then the back of that. And then this is oh, I know what I did. This is the sturdy. This was supposed to go somewhere else. So this is the one that's on that really heavy cardstock. I wonder if I switched those around. Nope, because this is, okay, so that's the other half of that. Interesting. But anyway, that's what I did. And then there's the back cover. So super excited. My signatures don't go in very straight. You can see it's kind of off. It's going this way a little bit, but nobody is going to care. And what I love about this is you can see when you open it, it does kind of splay out a little bit, but with the ribbon, however I decide to do this closure, I can pull this as tight as I want and really kind of make that kind of gator mouth, you know, thing that we end up with, hold the journal closed. It's easier with some journals than others. And when I did the cover, I actually had that in my mind so that I didn't have anything here that was going to interfere with this lace. So, and it's really cool lace. I don't know if you can see that stretch, but it's really awesome. And I used, I think I used the whole thing. I think it was like a yard. I might have a little scrap left, but so that is it, guys. So I will be back with a video where we start adding some ephemera, doing some decorating, and see what we can come up with. And so again, if this is a journal that you'd be interested in owning, just leave me a comment, let me know, and then I just pick somebody from the comments either on my YouTube channel or over on the blog, and I just send it to you. I have no need to sell. I don't sell my art anymore. I just enjoy making. It's the creative process that I enjoy, and sharing the making of it is really fun for me. So you can just leave a comment and I'll pick somebody and you guys can have it, or somebody can have it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.